Hello everyone, I'm Jack and I'm back, and let me show you what I'm doing now. Alright, so this is my Pagani-ish C8. So what I did was I made a splash of a GT40 front end because I have the body for it, and then I made some Pagani-like headlights off of a C8 front headlights. So I put all that together. And one of the issues is that the GT40 is significantly smaller than the C8, and so it needed to have 6 inches added in the middle. So what I was going to do was make the whole front end, split it in the middle, and then fill in the gap with a C8 hood that I made. Then I realized, wait a minute, instead of doing that, why don't I do, let's say, 3/4 of the front end on each side, and then where they overlap, I'll just split it there and join the two together. So that's what I've decided to do. So there was going to be a 6-inch gap, so I went to the middle of the GT40 front end, and then added, there's 6 inches, so I added about a foot just to be safe. All right, so now I have this mocked up on the C8, and I'll show you why I started doing this. Is because when I looked at the measurements, everything came out close enough except for that width, which was shocking, especially the front end. I didn't think the front wheel well would be in the right place, but it just happens to be, surprising enough. So what you see here is I've got a sheet on there so I don't scratch up the C8. But if you look, here's the rear wheel opening of the C8. And so if I place this wheel opening right there, it matches up. All right, if I look here, sure enough, it matches in the front as well. Now, the issue I have is there's about, what is that, 1.5 inches difference between the top of the wheel opening. So the whole front end needs to be lowered down. Well, of course, once I take off the C8 front end, I will be able to lower it. One of the issues is it's hitting right here. If you look, there's a little space here, not much, a little space here, and it's pretty much on the surface right there. So what I would need to do is lower the hood. So what I am probably going to end up doing is taking off the hood. I've got the other side made. It's in the back. And so what I will do is put the front end on both sides and then join them in the middle wherever they're going to end up being joined, and then mock this up that way. But again, the whole idea was, well, I got to get one side to work before the other. The front end, if you can't see it, but right there is the peak of the C8 front end. From my previous work on C8s, I know that I can move this back. This thing, I think, is kind of tilted this way just a little bit. Don't know if that's going to matter. I won't know until I put the two halves together and then stand back and look at it and say, hey, can you see that these things are slightly tilted out in the front end or not? The other thing is I want this body kit to work with the Z06, the E-Ray wide body, basically. And so the wheels are about roughly 2 inches wider. So if you look, that might be a little more than, no, I think that really is right at 2 inches. So this is pretty much where the front end is going to go. It might be pushed in a little bit, but not a whole lot. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like, where it's going to go, with the exception of lowering it down, again, that 2 inches or whatever that is right there. Might lower it a little more because it does give it a more aggressive stance. But it does just so happen that that's about the same amount of distance that it's off here and there. So the funny thing is, this thing pretty much falls right onto the C8, which obviously was a pleasant surprise. All right, and so originally I was going to do let's say there's a foot gap. If you look, here's where the back of the C8 factory hood is. I've got it covered again with the sheet, but you can see, that's roughly a foot right there. So I was going to take a foot out of that, and then I was going to fill in that 6-inch gap with the center there. But now that I've realized I can overlap, all I need is from that hood is this piece right here in between the edge and the edge of this. Again, it's going to take a lot of blending and stuff to get it to work, but that's the idea. What else was there? Well, I thought I had something else, but I can't think of what it is. So if you have any suggestions, ideas, let me know. Again, this is a work in progress, but like I said, I'm very pleasantly surprised that it's fitting so well with so little modifications. Oh, and I still have to do the lower section. I haven't done it. Again, it's on the GT40. I just got to make a mold and make a part. So what this is that you're looking at, it is actually a splash mold off of the GT40. The mold surface is underneath. You can't see it. This is the top side or back side of the mold. And I just went ahead and took a grinder across it and flattened it somewhat and then painted it flat black. And the idea was just so I could stand back, look at it, and see if I'm going to like what it's going to look like. All right. Again, I thought there was something else I was going to cover, but I sure can't remember it. All right, so like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate, and if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know Jack. Bye.